bypass organization can never replace a leadership organization and leadership system. On the contrary, it makes leading a lot less easy for the leadership system. So you need to directly communicate with the leaders. You need to convince them. And you need to also take their fears and work with their fears, because the department heads, of course, they had concerns about where is this all going to lead. We can see what are the learnings from this case study. What are the deep leverage points that I mentioned earlier? So the first learning is you need to have a why that is related to the market. It is not a person at the top of an organization who wants a change. A change always is related to the market. Your task as a leader is to make this link both in your own brain and in the way you communicate with your people, and say, it's not because of me, it is because what I can see and what we all can see is happening in the market with our competition. Are they more effective, having different technology? Are they dealing better with VUCA crisis, with the virus out there? What do they have on board that enables them to do it better than us? We need to learn from the market and we need to adapt. So the market is always the driver of the change. And our perception is either early or too late. And the earlier, the better. And the more we can communicate about this urgency, the better it is for the start of the change process. Becoming a team is a nice thing, but it is not enough as a why for people to really change. Make sure that your why is really solid and really understandable to people. Disconnect the change from your personality and relate it and link it to the market forces out there. That's number one. Number two, if you don't spend enough time with your next level leaders and the next level leaders discussing why and where do we need to go, and really building trust enough, so openness in the talking leads to real exchange of different perspectives and different approaches, so you can really commit as a team and form what Kotter calls the leadership coalition. If you don't have this coalition, if you don't have this committed leadership team, then it is bound to fail, because there will be personal changes. There needs to be this commitment to see this whole change through. As a third point, what we're learning from this project, it took the leaders some 1.5 to 2 years to come up with a clear goal, 30% reduction in development time. Now, this kind of goal, which is directly linked to the competition in the market, needs to be out there from the word go, from the very start of your process. Don't wait for too long to develop this goal. So what is the deep enabler for you to be doing these things, like discuss what is the why, what is the urgency, build the coalition and the commitment, and develop smart goals together? For all this, you need trust. So the best thing that you as a change leader can do is, as you know, even before you're intending to make any changes, do start your trust building in your leadership team, so people feel at ease speaking real. We all know culture, and culture may be different, but I would think you know your culture, and whether you have a more, the one leader or the more, we discuss this together, culture, it doesn't matter. Both ways still need a lot of trust for open exchange. And you need to build this trust so you get the real information and you hear what people really think. And you can take this when you're taking decisions, you can work with that real knowledge and take smart decisions together. So the trust building is the most fundamental key success factor. Now here's one last aspect. This culture change of coming from a hierarchical organization, going to a team kind of organization or team work style, it didn't succeed. And that's a culture thing too. It's a culture thing because working in that way was something that people had been used to. Working like a team in that way, they didn't feel safe. So they never made it to a big culture change. We did have some culture change in that project because people were feeling quite happy working with each other, talking more openly with each other. and hierarchy being less important in daily life. So they were quite happy with that. But those were changes that didn't last. And with the next leaders coming in, they actually all fell back. They all fell back to the old culture style, like this. So if you want to succeed with such a change, you need to discuss culture from the very beginning. So the top leaders would have to discuss what they have to change in their own thinking, mindset and behavior to trigger the change with the next levels. But this is in a different video that you will see in the culture part, and put together your learnings from that and reflect what are these deep leverage points in your project.